Hi, how are you today? We're going to be talking about IEW vocabulary. When your student starts writing, many times as a parent, you end up, or teacher, you end up with a lot of awkward sentences. And that's really because our students have a limited vocabulary. And so it is so important that we expand their vocabulary so that they can express themselves properly and in a more concise way. Many times they just don't have the words to say what they want to say. And so that's why we do vocabulary. Now, this is not, IEW's vocabulary is not the only vocabulary program out there, but if you spend a lot of good money on a program, I just want to help you understand how to get the most bang for your buck out of what you've already purchased and keep things integrated, keep things simple. So let me give you a little tour. First of all, in your student-based writing book of IEW. This is the student one. Now note that vocabulary words are not listed in card format in the teacher guide. So you're going to want to have the student edition, all right? And if you turn it on side, these colored cardstock pages are the vocabulary words. So I'll show this to you. And what IEW does is they do 4 words per lesson and roughly 1 lesson per week. It's very simple. And exactly which writing week and what week you do the vocabulary in does not matter that much. They kind of meet up. The words are good words to use in that week's writing assignment, but if you're off sync, it's really, really okay. I just start my kids week 1 and I just assign them 1 lesson a week. So that's 4 words a week that they'll be going over. And as you can see, they're formatted into 4 words here on the cardstock. And so what you have to decide is whether or not you're going to leave the words in the cardstock format in the book or not. And there's a couple of different ways to do this, and you just decide which one works best for your family. One more preview of the words is that it's got the word and a picture, and then on the back side it's got a definition and a sentence. So that's what they offer for you. All right, so there's a couple different ways that I have done the vocabulary over the years. One is to take all the words out and to chop them up into the nice little squares so that you can use them in like a flashcard format. And so you can see you have a word, and then on the back you have your definition. And that's just a great way to drill and play games or do it however you want. Do note that when you cut these out of the book, that there's no way to identify what lesson the word goes with. It does not say that. See, in the book, it's listed down here on the bottom of the sheet. So what I do if I decide to cut them out is I go ahead and just write get that on there, L12 or L3, so that I know which lesson it goes with, just in case I need to keep them organized, because they, without a fail, get just messed up. So this is one way to do it, and maybe a way to organize that is you could buy one of these little nifty boxes. I'm sure you've got one hanging around. You could make little dividers and put your cards in there, and that's what works for you. Another thing that you can do with them is that you can hole punch them, and let me grab this, put it on a nice big spiral ring, and then maybe that's the way that's easiest for you to organize. I do advise that you hole punch down here in this corner, otherwise you're going to be hole punching the word or the definition. So, and if you do any of this, you have to do it manually, okay? You have to cut it, you have to hole punch it. They don't come that way. So those are just 2 ways, and one great thing about having your words cut out is that when you're writing and you start getting a good stack of words going after you've done a couple of lessons, it's really easy to flip through the deck and help your child pick good words and pick some words that you think might fit well in their writing. Maybe they will become their strong verb or their quality adjective, or maybe one of their 5 senses words. These vocab words really help them come up with better words to use, which we work on all the time in IEW. We ban weak words and we work at doing strong words. So it's easy to take these, and a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take them and I'll put them in front of my student who's working at writing and tell them I want them to pick, 3 of the words to incorporate into their paper. So when they're cut out like this loose leaf, it's really easy. So that's another way to do it. Another thing that you can do, and this is what I did last year, is I kept them in their cardstock format and I ripped them out. You can see there's where they were bound. And then I 3-hole punched them down here at the bottom. And I put them in my students' IEW notebook, and I'll show you about that in another video at another time. I put them in their IEW notebook, and I just kept them in the 4 at a time. It just kept us a little more organized. But one thing I do, whether I cut them out or I keep them like this, is that I created a little worksheet, and it'll be a free download for you, so please enjoy that little gift from me. It's a little worksheet that we do to help us drill our vocabulary, and really at the top, it's very simple. What I do is it just tells them they have to write the word, then they write the definition, which they get off the back of the IEW card, and then they use the word in a sentence to prove that they understand what it means, so use the word correctly in a sentence. And then I have them draw a picture. You know, at this age, some of our children are visual learners, some of them are much more artistic and that kind of thing. And so this is a way to kind of draw on this, that they can draw a picture, and that might help them more than copying that definition 5 times, that they draw a picture and that helps them remember. A silly sentence helps them remember. And I have boys, and so our sentences can get very silly, sometimes a little out of potty humor, bathroom humor, and my rule is they can really do whatever they want. It just has to be used correctly. The definition of the word has to be correct. And so with that, we're able to bring some humor into our homeschool world and keep vocabulary from just being this really boring set of drills that we have to do. And these are an area where when we do these worksheets, they're dying to tell me each day and show their brothers and sisters what sentence they came up and what their picture is. And so this has been a great source of humor for us to keep vocabulary fun. I'll share one with you. We're not amazing artists in this house, so we do a lot of stick figures, but this was my son's. His word was diligent, and then it is hardworking was the definition, and then his sentence says, Joe McSnardbarf, yes, diligently made a Shelby Cobra. And so then his picture is of a Shelby Cobra. And then this guy right here is Joe McSnardbarf. And Joe is sweating really hard because he just finished diligently making his Shelby Cobra. And so my son thought that was the funniest thing. And, you know, as a result, when they do this, I find that they have internalized their vocabulary words so much more. And we want to expand their vocabulary in both for their written purposes, but also for their spoken purposes, and, you know, to help shape their thinking and their ability to express themselves. And I've found that when we do this, it enables them to kind of put that memory peg in their mind they remember what silliness they came up with or what picture they came up with, and it just helps drive it home in their mind. And so it's been a great tool. And so what I did is I would take basically these 4 words, and then I would make a front to back copy of the download, and I would just put it behind, and they knew that they had to do that, just do 1 a week. And so we usually only do essentials 3 days a week. And so they could decide, depending on what our schedule held, if they wanted to do all 4 of their words in 1 day, or if they just wanted to do 2 a day. And then usually on the last day, I ask them to review previous weeks, or maybe we'll play a game, or I'll drill them on some of their vocabulary. So, you know, keeping it simple, keeping it light, keeping it no more than 15 minutes a day. Doesn't need any more than that, but it's just a way to really utilize this tool that IEW has for you. And then also, not to forget, right in front of the vocab cards in the student manual is an at a glance, where they have the lessons and the words with the definition. And I either tear this out or make a copy of it and put it with my students' word lists. That way, when we start having a lot of words, we can easily go to these and reference them when we're doing our writing. We don't have to go grab a big stack of flashcards. And then don't forget, also, there are vocabulary quizzes that you can do. And these are not hard, and your kids feel successful when they get them done. If you need to have maybe something for a permanent record or for a state record, these are, you know, much more professional looking than some of your artistic creative drawings. And so just utilize those. I mean, they take the kids maybe 10 minutes to do, and they feel great when they get an A. So make sure that whatever you do, you find a way to incorporate building your child's vocabulary. Utilize whatever it is whatever learning style works best for them. And so bring in some art, bring in some humor, or whatever works. So I'll have that free download on the website for you if you want to use that form. You're welcome to it. And so thanks so much for joining me, and check out the other videos to see how I incorporate the vocabulary into their weekly work and how I organize it. All right? Have a wonderful day.